Hiya people, welcome back to the D&D basement. Today we're going to talk about adventure, the making of an adventure. I already showed you how to do a Photoshop map, and this time I'm going to mix it up and show you how you can use those Photoshop and map and make a great adventure out of it. All that in about 15 minutes time. Here we are on our desktop, ready to create our adventure. I'm not going to use a map because I'm not going to create a map with you because I already did on some other videos. But I'll show you how to get your map done and then go for the important stuff, what's in your map. So the first resource we're going to use is the Dungeon Master's Guide, 5th edition. In it, you'll see that in page 290, you have a random dungeon appendix. It's a few pages long, and it helps you. It has a lot of tables, so actually you can roll your whole map. And that's what we're going to use to create our map. That's what I use to create the next map that you will see. Using these, you can create maps in about 15 minutes. Tops. Seriously, there's a lot of stuff and you can create maps and they will be randomized. It won't be the same thing every time because you can actually use your judgment to make sure that does not happen. So in the random dungeons, we have a lot of things. As you can see, there's starting areas, passages, passages width, doors, chamber exit, exit location, exit type, what's beyond the door, the chamber actually with stairs on the thing. All you need is to actually roll a few dices and that's gone. That's a go for you. And there's another section that's really important, is that you need to connect your map and needs to give it an actual purpose. Is your dungeon a death trap? Is it a lair, a planar gate, whatever? This section is called stocking a dungeon, and to stock your dungeon you will need to know what kind of dungeon it is. There's a lot of tables here depending on what kind of dungeon you're playing. As I said, it could be a death trap, a lair, planar gate, maze, mine. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff. Temple, shrines, strongholds, general dungeon chamber if you don't know what kind of dungeon you want, or you want to create a 3 or 4 room dungeon and you don't know what it's going to be. Tombs, treasure vaults, and then it goes to chamber states. In those sections, let's go for, since mine will be a stronghold, it's going to be a castle. You'll see it's going to be a castle. So let's go for stronghold. That's what I used. You'll see that there are things like antechamber for visitors seeking access to stronghold and waiting, armory, audience chamber, aviary or zoo, banquet room, barracks, bat outfit, bedroom, chapel. There's a lot of rooms type. They actually make you roll a d100 to know what kind of room that is. So there's a lot of things you can even finish with latrines. So that's a funny one if you end up with a giant room and that's end up being a latrine. It actually happened in one of my stories. So using these things, using these tables, we ended up with this map that I created with Photoshop, as seen in the previous videos. So I decided to start with the outdoor. So I wanted the first room to be an entry hall. So that's my first room. 1 and 2 are my first rooms. Area 1 and Area 2 are my first rooms. Then I rolled to know how many doors there was. I ended up with 4, including the entry point. So I decided that one would be here, the other 2 would be in front, since it's a hall. After that, I rolled again on the tables, and there what I've got. This is what I've got. Uh, this is a castle. I decided that the round rooms here, 4, 12, and 18, were gonna be spires. They're the towers going up. So this is how I get this thing. It took me about 15 minutes to create this whole map. Seriously, those who will tell you that it takes 3 hours to create a map and then create an adventure for it are totally wrong. This whole adventure took me about an hour top. I took about an hour and it was all done. The next thing you're gonna do once you actually numbered your thing, you can do it the way you want, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. I go with numbers, they're easy to place everywhere. And once that is done, you have to open up your document. You open a Word document or whatever, and just create your stuff. Like here I'm gonna do area 1. And usually I use quotes with some spacing in between to tell my stuff, but you can use whatever you want. And I'm gonna say this castle is beautiful with 2 giant doors out front. So that's a small description. Yeah, I don't recommend that you actually give too much detail in those descriptions. The last thing you want is to actually read that out loud to your players, because it loses the feeling. You have to say it out from your heart. So usually what I do is that I enter some key elements. So let's say key elements 1, key elements 2, etc. And I just use that to describe the place. Then you can go with whatever happens, like a north door. Like north door is unlocked. Passages can be seen toward lounge and dining room. This is what they are, in fact. And then that's it for area 1. The rest is you whatever you put in it. Then you can actually create area 2 and do pretty much the same thing as area 1, or whatever you want it to be. So, and then you go area 3, area 4, area 5, and so on and so on. And that's pretty much it. That's how you create an adventure. And if you need help, as I said, the dungeon guide can actually help you on that. There's even a section for NPCs or players or whatever you need. There's a lot of stuff in that book that's actually awesome in creating an adventure. Out of all the books that I've seen in Dungeons and Dragons, this one has a whole section on it, and it's really well made for that. I really like that book. And it's not going to be useful just for 5th edition. You can actually use it for whatever else you want. The tables are pretty much generics, so you can use it for whatever you need. So that's how you make an adventure for your session group. It takes about 15-30 minutes to do an adventure. So everybody who told you that it takes hours of work to actually create an adventure, no, it's really not. You have to be simple, effective, and you can do exactly what we did right now. So that's it for today's DnD Basement. Let's see you next time. In the meantime, if you like this video, like it. Use the like button. And if you want to see more videos from me, use the subscribe button. Thank you, and have a nice day.